Hey, how y'all doing out there in YouTube land? This Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. I got my co-host here, Juno. She's coming in to join us for our unboxing that we got coming up here. This one's coming from Midway USA. And it's one that after I got a previous knife that we just showed, I just had to get it. It's not the same knife. It's a different model. But this one's more of the, but I would say, well, let's get into it. I don't want to tell you what it is before I unwrap it. Let me see, doing the unwrapping today, unboxing today. This is my knife that went to work with me today. It's my Recon 1, Cold Steel Recon 1, with my Snaggletooth MF on it. Let me see, we're just going to slice this one open. Maybe on this side too. I just touched up the blade on my Recon. It's super sharp. Super sharp. All right, what we got here? A new leather neck. Yes, a new leather neck. I'm digging. After having the first leather neck that I got, that the Jersey knife guy suggested I get, and I listened to him, and he was right. And it is badass. It is badass. But my leather neck, I forget what number was it. Was it 385 or something like that? I'm sorry, can't remember exactly. But it got sent back because of the loose guard. Remember the loose guard that was on it? Jersey knife guy said his was solid and that's not the way it's supposed to be, so I should send it back and exchange it for another. That's exactly what I did. I contacted Midway USA. They gave me a return merchandise packaging slip, and so I don't even have to pay for return postage. Send it back, and so now when it gets back here, I'll let y'all see it to see if it's a good one. But that's what happened with that one. Got a little bit of spider web there or something. All right, let's open it up. It's all sealed up, brand new. Let me read you the specs on it really quick. Blade length, 7 inches. Overall length, 12 inches. Weight, 12.2 ounces. Blade thickness, 5 millimeters. Blade steel, German DT. Deutsches D2. Yeah, das ist wahr. Handle, 5-inch Kraton. I love Kraton. All right. Let me put away this one. And y'all know me, I love my Combat Tantos. And to me, you know, my father always taught me that the best fighting blades were the ones from between 7 and 9 inches. I mean, not 7, but 6 and 9 inches. 6 and 9 inches long. That's what they always told him in the Marines, when he was in the Marines. And so this is the true soldier size right here. This is 7-inch blade, just like a K-bar. Okay. And this one's not going to be a safe clean, because I know I'm going to like it. All right. All right. It's got a nice weight to it. I'm excited. I'm kind of excited about it, because I really like the way these have the thick blade tang all the way through the handle, so it's like a full tang knife. It's not really like a rat tail. That's the reason why I wanted to get this one. Oh, that's sweet. It's got the new GSM markings on it. Awesome. GSM cold steel markings, not the old cold steel markings. I don't know if this is a new model for 2022 or if it's been previously out a year before, but I've seen these before. I don't know if they were D2 or whatever, But I never really gave him that much attention because I was always stuck on, you know, thinking that a real combat knife should be a K-bar. But after, you know, seeing how these are made and comparing them to the K-bar, you know, this got a machine. Oh, there goes Juno. This got a machine butt cap, machine steel butt cap instead of a cast steel butt cap. And this one, the guard's not loose. Okay, let me sit down and let me get Juno off the table here. Yeah, get off the table, sweetie. Want to say hi to everybody? Is that what you're doing? I know you get all excited when you watch yourself on TV, especially the parts where you jump up on the table. That's why you like to jump up on the table, because you know you're gonna get to see yourself on TV. Okay, Kira, come on down. Come on down. You'll never want to get off the table no more. Okay, sweetie. Yeah, come down, Kira. Give me kisses. All right, sweetie. All right. It's got the typical sheath, you know, that we all know, you know, the glass-filled sheath. Works perfectly fine. I like the way it clicks into the handle. Nice retention. Just a tiny bit of rattle, not a whole lot, just a little bit. This is a good knife for a soldier. It's got a drainage at the tip, so if it ever got fluid or liquids in it, it can drain out. This would be an excellent soldier's knife. I know if I was, you know, still in the Army, I would love to have this knife. Especially knowing that, you know, it's got like a full tang going through it instead of just a little rat tail. Now, 1095 to me is stronger than D2. But one thing good about D2 is that it's semi-stainless, so it won't rust as easily as 1095. So that's one advantage that the D2 would have over the 1095, if you ask me. I would expect the 1095 to be able to handle things like batoning and, you know, and hardcore stuff, you know, hardcore heavy-duty stuff better than D2. But this is nice. This is nice. A nice sturdy knife. Everything's nice and tight on it. It's good to go. Absolutely love it. Five millimeters thick. Beautiful Tanto grinds. So to me, it's sort of like a recon Tanto, the fixed blade. Matter of fact, let's pull out some of my other modern day combat knives. That's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at modern day combat knives. Modern day. Set the sheets out the way. Let me see. First one up. What should we go with? Let's go with the modern day K-bar. Now this one's got the 3 retention. So like if you're an airborne ranger or something like that, you know, if you're jumping out of airplanes and stuff, I know it's important to have the three sources of retention. It's got the one retention that's in the sheath. You got the retention up here that holds the handle. You got the retention over here that goes over the guard. All right. And see, it won't come out. That's the first retention. You got to push it back, and then it comes out. This is the new K-bar Tanto. This is a Japanese style Tanto. Let's take a look at the butt caps and take a look at the tangs, the tails. That's why I'm digging these, because I like the way that these have you know, it's like a full tang that's going through the handle. That's very thick. That's, you know, going through the handle. It's not narrowed down hardly at all. My K-bar. But this one feels super well made, though. I mean, it feels like, you know, a serious knife for, you know, for a soldier. This is model, was it 1266? It says USA 1266 K-bar, Orleans, New York. I love the rubberized handles. To me, the best, I love these rubberized handles. They give you the best grip. As you see, it's bigger. I can't remember how long the blade is. Let's measure it out. See how long the blade is. So you guys can see. About 7 7/8. This one should be 7 inches. Yep, 7 inches. All right, so that's that one. Let's break out another modern blade. How about the Warcraft? I know they don't make these anymore, but I would still consider this modern. Let me wipe it off a little bit. Let me see. I would still consider it modern. This one's 3V steel with a saber ground Tanto. So this is a super tough knife. This is the toughest knife that's on the table so far. Full tang construction. The tang narrows down to save weight at the back, but it's full tang. These are awesome knives. If you get a hold of one of these, I would say get a hold of one of these. DLC coated, so it's got a better coating than these two. It's also got G10 handle scales that are removable, so you can totally clean it. This is the original style of Cold Steel Warcraft. Always wanted to get a 12-inch one of these. I missed out on that. I think this one's a 7.5-inch blade, or 7-inch blade, or 7.5-inch blade. Now this is a serious knife. This would be to me a great knife for a soldier because you could use this knife for anything. These make good wood crafting knives too. As far as like camp duties and splitting wood and batoning and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think it's a 7.5-inch blade. So let's put this one above this one. Is that right? I'm trying to line it up right up here. It's close. Let me see how long that is. It's close. This one says 7 1/4. 7-inch. And I'm measuring from the closest point to the tip. 7 1/4 inches. I thought it was like 7.5 inch, but 7 1/4. It would be 7.5 if you measured it from down there. All right, next one up. And this is modern too, even though they don't make it anymore. It's been out of production for a while. I don't know, maybe close to 20 years or so. But this is the original style of the Cold Steel Recon. It was made in the United States. And this has the Carbon V. Carbon V is 1095 chromium vanadium steel. A lot of the different knife makers back in the 90s and 80s, they were all using the same steel, but they called it different things. These were made, I want to say Camillus. I think Camillus was the one that was making these for Cold Steel, Camillus. And they were known for making a lot of combat knives for soldiers. And this was Cold Steel's offering as a combat knife for a soldier back in the day. Super thick. Now this is a super strong knife too because it's an over molded handle. And I think it's like Zytel over molded with Kraton. It's held on right here. It's a really sturdy and strongly built knife. This is an excellent knife for a soldier also. Seven inches long. These are the modern ones I have that were, designed for American soldiers. And that's why I wanted to pull them out for them. I have one more that is sort of like a hybrid between the new and the old. But it's a Tanto also, and this is a K-bar. And this is a special edition one because normally they make these with this type of handle. But this was a special run where they made it with the leather stick handle instead of the Kraton handle. So you can get one of these right now, but they'll have a handle like this. Won't have the leather handle. But I wanted to get this one, pull this one out, even though it's sort of like a hybrid of the way they made them back in the past and the way they make them now, because they didn't make a Tanto in the past, but they did make the leather handles in the past. So that's what I mean by it's a hybrid of between modern, new, and old. And if I'm going into combat, these leather handles are classy and they look great and stuff, but I'd rather have a handle like this. If I'm going, this is what I would recommend for a soldier, because this handle you actually got good grip and it's impervious to weather and different conditions that can mess a handle like this up. And this one you actually have better grip. I know this looks classy and it looks better and everything like that. It's the way that it's historical. That's the way they used to make these. But to me, this is better as a collector. But if I'm going into combat, I want this. I want something like this with a handle like this, or a handle like this, like with this durable G10. Because if I want even more grip, I could wrap it. I could wrap it, with some sort of grip tape, and then even give it better grip. This one feels really good. This cold steel knife is awesome. The Leatherneck Tanto. $53 at Midway. That's what I paid for it. $53 at Midway for a German D2 blade that's 7 inches long, with a thick handle. Thick tang that goes all the way through the knife. And this is a machine steel butt cap. That's how Cold Steel advertises it. It's heavy duty. The guard's even heavy duty. Compare the guard to, let me see, let's compare these two. I wonder which one's thicker. I'm looking at the thickness of the blade. This one has a saber grind. This is a saber ground Tanto, so that's a tough Tanto blade. But it doesn't have the thick tang going all the way through the handle. So even though this blade looks a lot stronger, I think I'd still put a little bit more faith into the hollow ground Tanto of this blade. Because I know this knife can handle more stress. Let's say if I want a baton with it or something like that. Because if you're out in the field, you're going to mostly be using your knife for like camp duties and food prep and stuff like that. You're not going to really be using it I hope you're not going to be using it to be fighting the enemy with. I hope you don't have to get that close to the enemy. You know what I mean? That's what the rifle's for, and the firearms are for, and the other weapons are for. So you don't have to get that close to the enemy. But if you have to get that close to the enemy, this is awesome. This K-bar is actually, I really like this one. I like the Japanese Tanto, because this looks super stabby. It looks like a great knife for a fighting knife. If you actually have to fight, get in a fight with somebody, this would be a good one to have. And this one's nice too. Why? Because I like the grip. The grip on this one is awesome. It's really awesome. This one's awesome too. This one, I love the knife because I know the knife is super, 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 super tough. 3V steel and it's full tang. But if I'm going to take this one into combat, I'm going to wrap the handle. And I learned that, from my other warcrafts that, the big ones that you see me get. I call those the civilian warcrafts because they're not blacked out. To me, a soldier's knife is supposed to look like this. You want something totally blacked out that's not going to, it's not going to reflect any sunshine or whatever and give away your position or whatever. You don't want anything like that. You don't want something that's not coated. You want something that is coated with a non-reflective coating. And that's just the way I think. And these to me are real soldier knives. All of these are real soldier knives. Knives that, you know, I would really recommend to a soldier to carry into combat. Because they're not too big, they're not too heavy, but they're big enough. And they're heavy enough. They're the right size. Some other ones I have are my Russian ones that I really like. And these are the Phoenixes. That's a Phoenix 2. And the other one I got over here is a Phoenix 1. These are Russian soldier knives. This is what their modern day knives are. They're wicked. This one has some kind of steel that I'm not familiar with. It's called Y8A. I have no idea what kind of steel that is. I think it's supposed to be a carbon steel. I saw a demonstration with these on the internet. I didn't even know about them. You know, I had my Wild Pig Hunter first. And the Wild Pig Hunter was designed after this knife. After the Russian military knife. And it's my understanding from what I've read about this, the big one is what the special forces use, the Russian special forces use. And this is the regular soldier's knife. This one's made out of Oz 8, Oz 8A. So it's a stainless steel. And I got one more. This one's never been opened. I got this one a while back when they were on sale at Midway, and I never opened it. So let's open it. It's a Glock. It's a field knife. Let me see, where's my pocket knife? All right. I don't care about this packaging. All right. All right. So I guess you call this a double unboxing, huh? But this is my Glock. I wanted to get one like Lucky's. They didn't have the plain edge ones no more, so this is a serrated one, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. It had the sawtooth back edge. Not serrated, but it has a sawtooth. Other European soldiers and Japanese soldiers, I think it was, and maybe even Chinese, use this as their knife, as their combat knife. And it's also a bayonet. And it works as a bayonet with the Austrian Army's rifles, if I'm not mistaken. And then how you turn into a bayonet, this cap comes off, and then it slides on to, I guess, to part of the gun, and then there's a pin. I'm not exactly sure, so, you know, don't quote me on that. But I know it's supposed to be a bayonet also. For, I think, it's the Austrian Army rifles. And the German Army also carry these are an issued item in the German Army, from my understanding. So it's a true soldier's blade. That's what I'm trying to point out to you. It's made out of 1095 steel. And it's made by Glock. The same people make the Glock guns. In Austria, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's made in Austria. Yeah, it says Austria on it. Let me wipe it down a little bit. It's real oily. I've finally taken it out. Take a look at it. This one feels good in hand too. But this one, the grip on this one, I would wrap this grip too, because it's really more like a hard plastic. It's not like it's not the rubbery grip. Set this sheath up there. It's not the rubbery grip like on the K-bar. This K-bar has, this grip to me feels the best. This handle. Now I like the way this one has a thick blade tang, and this one has a good grip too, but this one feels the best. This one feels experienced. It feels like when they made this handle, they knew what they were doing. From years and years, of war experience, and soldiers saying what kind of handles they like the best. This handle rocks. But you know what K-bar needs to do though? They need to make their tangs thicker like the Cold Steels. They need to make their tangs like this. They need to make their tangs wider and thicker so the knife is stronger. Because I've seen videos of people breaking these. Lots of times they break like right here. They don't actually break where the rat tail is, but they break right around in here. So, I don't know. But if you're using it as a fighting knife, it's perfectly fine. As a fighting knife, perfectly fine. Because, any of these knives would be, super strong as a fighting knife. Because for a fighting knife, it doesn't really have to be super strong. I know everybody always thinks you have to have a super strong knife for a fighting knife. But actually for a fighting knife, it's a little bit better when the knife is balanced perfectly and it's really fast in your hand and you can move around real fast with it. You don't want something that's big and heavy and it weighs you down, and every time you swing it, the weight of the knife throws your arm this way, further out the way, so it gives your opponent a chance to attack you. You want something that's light. This is light. This is, to me, be an awesome fighting knife. It's got everything I need. It's got an edge, it's got a point. It's made out of 1095 steel, so I know it's strong. All I need to do is wrap the handle on this. Now, this is not a full tang knife. This is a partial tang knife because inside of it has a hollowed out metal center where it fits onto the weapon. But I think the tang goes up to right about here. But it's a proven knife, though. It's welded to the cylinder, the metal cylinder that's inside of it. It sort of looks like a gun barrel, and it's welded to it. This one feels light and strong. You see, I'm trying to see what the balance is on it. See, the balance is right about the guard. This one feels fast in hand too, but I'd wrap this handle also. This one's handle heavy. It's not bad though, it's like right there. So you hold it right here, it'll be fast. And this one has an excellent grip. This one has an excellent grip too. The Phoenix too. And the difference between the Phoenixes is, really went over there. Hold on. All right. Let's measure these out and see how long they are. This one, 6.5 inches. This one, 8 inches. This one, 6 7/8. So this one is about the same length as this one. So the K-bar and the Phoenix are the same size. The two assassins. And this one, this should be down here. It's the smallest. See if I got enough room to line everything up here. Yeah, it's a little bit longer than that one, huh? We're gonna make them all in there? It's gonna be close. Wow, we made it. Awesome. These are all soldier's knives. These are all what I would say a soldier should, have a, if you're gonna have a fixed blade as a soldier, these are all proper fixed blades for soldiers. All right, people. I'm gonna cut it off there. This is the Glock. And what model is this one? I think it's an 81. A model 81. I see 81 on here. So I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to call it the 81. This is a Phoenix 2. I know what this one is. This is a Recon. Carbon V Recon. USA made. This is the new Cold Steel combat knife from GSM Cold Steel, the new Cold Steel company. Absolutely love it. The Tanto Leatherneck with they also make this in a clip blade too. I like the Tantos, you know me. The Tanto Leatherneck with the D2 blade with a super thick blade tang that goes through the handle. I highly recommend this. I think it's a beautiful knife. Kraton handle, excellent grip. The classic saber ground Tanto. The Leatherneck has a hollow ground Tanto again, by the way, and the Recon has a saber ground Tanto. This is a saber ground Tanto. K-bar, classic K-bar. It's a I would call it a modern version of a classic, or classic and modern mixed together. It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid between old and new. This is the Warcraft. This one's fairly modern, but they don't make it anymore. It's out of production. It's been replaced. And the ones that they replaced it with, they're not blacked out. So I don't call those real soldiers' knives. I call them urban soldier knives. Because to me, a real soldier's knife needs to be non-reflective and needs to be blacked out or coated with some sort of non-reflective coating. OD green or whatever, it needs to be coated. This is a beautiful knife. The modern K-bar Japanese Tanto. This one feels really good in hand. I really like the way this one feels. It also has a little bit thinner blade stock than all the others too. You know what, that's another thing we should check out real quick is blade stocks, huh? This is the Phoenix, the big Phoenix for Russian Special Forces. It's a beautiful blade. All right, let's see what thicknesses we got going on here. Okay, we're zeroed. This one. .93 or 5mm. I just call that 5mm. K-bar. 3.5mm. 3.5mm. That's why this one feels so good. It feels super light. It's only 3.5mm. That's like the same thickness on my pocket knife, my Recon pocket knife. All right. What we got there? Let me zero. Oh yeah, I'm off there a little bit. .88 or 8.9, so that's 5mm too. Usually when the knife company says something is 5mm, it's not really 5mm. It's usually I noticed that from always checking measurements. Oh, this one's 4.34, so it's like 4.5mm. So I was out of zero before when I tested it before. Let me make sure my zero's in good again. Okay. This one's 4.28, 4.3mm. Zeroed out. 4.62mm. See this, that they advertise as 5 millimeters. Let's check it again. Let's re-zero just to make sure. Yep, 4.6 millimeters. So it's really closer to 4.5 millimeters than it is 5 millimeters. All right. The original Recon, 5.59 millimeters, 5.6 millimeters. That's thick. Told you this was a badass. And this is carbon V. This is a serious steel. All right. Go back to 0 again. 5.35 for the Russian Phoenix 2. 5.35 Oz 8. And last but not least, the Austrian combat knife, field knife, model 81, 4.8, so it's 5 millimeters thick. And that's 1095 steel. That's a really good steel too. All right, people, that's it. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Nice comparison. I absolutely love it, people. This is a great one. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend it. Peace. Stiletto.